Yo, I'm Brendan. I'm glad you're here. Yotta used to be my go-to recommendation for a savings account because they were the best. But now Yotta has had some drama and a lot of changes, and I feel like we need to reassess whether or not they're even worth using. I got this comment from a subscriber requesting to talk about whether Yotta is as good nowadays as they were before. I think it's a great idea. If you have a suggestion for any kind of future video, then please leave me a comment and I'll probably do it. The reason Yotta used to be so great is they had a great UI, they gave you a higher interest rate than most people, and they were more interesting. That's it. Those three features were good enough to make them the go-to. But now they're putting all that in jeopardy. I'm concerned by 6 different changes that Yotta has made, and I'll go over each and every one of those in the video so you know everything that you're up against if you're using Yotta or if you're considering using them. And by the end of the video, you'll know whether or not this is a good service for you or if you should steer clear. The first change is losing access to I-bonds. Now, technically, Yotta still will allow you to keep the money that you put into I-bonds if you did that with them. If you kind of missed that, what Yotta did was make availability of I-bonds a really, really easy thing. Typically, you had to go to the Treasury Direct website, which is this horrific UI. It's this terrible federal website. You go in there and buy I-bonds, which are a kind of bond. And for a time here, they've had a really great interest rate. And so it's zero risk, great interest rate. Like, it was a no-brainer for you to go and put some money in there. So I maxed it out. I put in 10 grand right away whenever they offered this. It was very slick to do it all through Yotta, and now that's gone. Something has changed to where that connection between Yotta and Treasury Direct is now broken. And so you can't see your balance, you can't manage anything, you can't put any more money in. They're basically totally divorced now, and that's a problem. The only way for you to actually gain access back to your own account and your own money is by emailing Yotta support and asking them if you can access your account. Then you go through a few steps and you get a login for Treasury Direct itself, and you unlink your account from Yotta. For me, having $10,000 tied up somewhere where I don't have access to it is so much money that it freaks me out. So I had to get those two things connected, me and my money, not necessarily Yotta and Treasury Direct, because that's broken. So I emailed them, and it took a little while to get the right email instructions from them, navigate through Treasury Direct's website, and then finally 3 days later, I got in and I can see what my actual current return is. Because when I bought in, it was like 9%, which is unbelievable. And now it's down to less than 3.5%, which is not the best. Technically, right now, my money would be better off in a high-yield savings account, but there are penalties for withdrawing the I-bonds money early. So I don't know if Yotta just didn't want people to see this kind of thing happen and take money out, or if they actually had a connection issue with Treasury Direct. Whatever it is, it's broken now. If you're like me and you have money in the I-bonds, then here's how the penalties work. So you can cash out an I-bond after a year, but if you withdraw the money sooner than 5 years, you'll pay a penalty that's worth the last 3 months' interest. It's not terrible, but it's something that you have to take into account. A little bit of strategy that we have around that is to realize that if the last 3 months have had a high interest rate and now the rate just dropped, it's probably not a good time to cash out because you're losing that high amount of return you just had. You're better off waiting for 3 months at the low rate, then take it out so that that's what you're losing. You're penalized a smaller amount that way. Technically for us right now, I don't have to have that 10 grand. It can just sit there and grow and do its thing. But I also have a little bit of like a thorn under my skin knowing that I'm not getting the best interest rate I can on my cash. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to watch it and see what happens in this next 6-month period. If the rate continues to be low, I'll withdraw it. The second thing that changed that's disconcerting and not very nice is that Yotta changed their terms of service. And typically these kind of things are something that I ignore. Terms of service, it is what it is. I'm going to use the service, so I've got to accept them, right? But this is something that's actually problematic with Yotta. So if you're using Yotta, you probably got a similar email. It says that they're moving away from using a single bank, which in the past however many years has always been Evolve Bank and Trust. And now what they're doing is using a network of FDIC insured banks that all have access to more competitive rates, more partner redundancy, and increased FDIC insurance coverage. They say in the email that we don't need to do anything or take any action, that all your money will just continue to act as it always did. The selling point for us is that everything is still FDIC insured, and we actually probably have a higher limit than before, because the limit that you can have with one bank is $250,000. Now, if you have it broken up across several banks, then that limit goes up. So they're saying that we now have up to $500,000 in aggregate FDIC insurance. And so my next question then was, what are all these different banks that we're using? Are we talking about 5 different banks or 10 different banks? Have I heard of these banks? Like, what's the story? Why are you going into this huge network of banks? So I clicked on the little link that you can look and I'll see all the banks are. Turns out it's like dozens of banks. Update from the future a few days later, I'm putting this video together and there's only 14 banks now. So somehow a huge amount of those banks got culled from the list, which is also weird. But now I have multiple questions. A, can I opt out? Yes, you can email support@withyotta.com and request that your account be moved to Thread Bank, the single bank, and then all your funds will be held at a single bank instead of being all broken up. So that's a good option for you. I also wonder, do our account and routing numbers change? Do our debit cards still work? All the other things we have surrounded with Yotta, they say all that stuff continues to work and doesn't change. So if you have it set up with some kind of like auto bill pay or whatever like that, no worries, it's going to keep working. The really weird technical part of this is that we're going from a single bank with savings and checking kind of accounts, right? Cash management accounts. And through breaking it up and going into all these different banks that are all still FDIC insured, what we're actually doing is getting a brokerage account opened for us. So not only are we getting this brokerage account through Synapse Bank or whatever this thing is called, we're also getting a cash management account opened up through them. So it's like this weird fracturing of accounts and changing of account types to say, hey, for whatever reason, because we need to get into all these different network of banks, we can't use Evolve anymore, you actually have to have a brokerage account opened up. I have no idea why we have to have a brokerage account with them to access banking services, but for whatever reason, that's the hoop they've chosen to make us jump through. Weird. Change number 3 from my last Yotta video, Yott Club. It's not something fancy where you're on a boat and you're wearing boat shoes and have a cardigan tied around your neck with a drink in your hand. It's something else. So this Yott Club thing is a membership program that you pay for and have 3 different options, Sailor, Captain, and Admiral. And each membership level gives you more tickets and exclusive benefits. No commitment, cancel anytime. Okay, what are these benefits? To become a Yott Club Sailor in any given month, you have to complete both of these following actions. A, set up direct deposit and receive at least $1,000 in paychecks direct deposited into your account. And B, spend at least $500 with your Yotta cards, whether that's debit or credit. If you do that, you get this Sailor level and you get 500 tickets as a bonus. And you also earn Yotta Boxes for each action. And we'll get into Yotta Boxes here in a little bit. So that's Sailor level. How about the next level? To reach the Captain level, you've got to pay $5 a week. It's just a fee. It's not about deposits. It's not something that you get to keep. You're paying Yotta to do this. And in return, you get 1,500 tickets per week. You also get unlimited buckets, which is just different ways to sort your money. And then you get a Captain profile badge. Oh my, a profile badge. I'll pay $10 for that. Not really. And then they claim in the app that the most popular level is Admiral level, which somehow I doubt, but I think they want to encourage us to go with the flow. That's $10 per week. And for that, you get 3,000 tickets every week. You get priority customer support, a custom app icon, my, unlimited buckets, and an Admiral profile badge. So really, you're just paying to get extra bonus tickets for some reason. I don't know why the added complexity's there. Are there people who are that into these daily drawings that they need more tickets? Maybe, but I'm not one of those people. Change number 4 is Yotta Boxes. So let's see what these boxes are. Think of this as a random prize box that you get every time you make a purchase with one of your Yotta cards, or you refer a friend, or you receive your paycheck into your account. They give you one of these little Yotta boxes. So if you got one from spending money with one of the cards, then you might get that credit purchased, you might get some bonus tickets, you might, if you have your paycheck deposited in there and get a box because of that, double your paycheck, so it might get 100% cash back on your paycheck. Or for a referral box, if you refer somebody through your code, it might contain up to $100 and 1 million tickets. I've gotten a couple of these and I've gotten, 1,000 tickets or something like that and $1. So again, this is some added complexity. They're really trying to double down on this whole prize feeling, this raffle, this unwrapping of a mysterious good thing for you. But to me, it's whatever. It's kind of cheesy. I don't really care. I would rather just get a distinct bonus that says every time you do something, you get this other thing, and then decide if it's worth it for me. But they do it this mysterious way, I think, to keep you on the hook. Change number 5 is this option to play the game differently called Double Down. Basically, they say that you can save up a portion of your tickets and wager them for a chance to earn more tickets. So the most you can wager is 100 tickets. Then you pick either heads or tails, which it's obviously not really heads or tails. It's an app that can algorithmically choose how much you win or lose. And then if you guess correctly, you earn double your wager. So if you wager 2 tickets, you guess correctly, you get 2 extra tickets. And then if you continue to guess correctly and you build a streak, then you could, in theory, exponentially grow the number of tickets that you've had. For me, this is not that appealing, but if you love an arbitrary game with some silly prizes, could be good for you. Part 6 is a new one that I literally just saw right this minute as I'm here with you right now making this video, called Moonshot. And here's how we play. It's another like small game like Double Down. Number 1, you've got to have tickets to wager again. Number 2, the longer the rocket flies, the higher the ticket multiplier grows. How do we make a rocket fly? Then you eject before the rocket explodes and win that multiple of your wager. So it sounds like you're on a doomed space mission and you've got to pick the right time to eject as late as possible, but not getting blown up. If the rocket explodes before you eject, you lose your tickets. Got it. Can I bet tickets? No, I want to play this. I want to bet. It's kind of a cute little rocket animation. Here, let me do a screen recording for you so you can see it. So 2.7 times your wager, 3 times your wager. Oh, and it's apparently live updating, telling you when people are ejecting so that you can see, oh wow, Justin, Kenneth, and Amy really held out a long time. They got 5 or 6 times their tickets. Oh, round over at 7.86 times. Why can I not bet? I think I need to not have all my tickets in play. Okay, I think I only have 5 tickets available, and the minimum is probably 10 tickets, so I'm not actually able to play. Oh wow, that one blew up fast. 1.63x. Yeah, if I could play this, I would. It's a little more interesting to me. Still totally arbitrary and silly and unpredictable, but it's somewhere between a casino and an arcade as far as like earning tickets like at a Peter Piper Pizza or a Chuck E. Cheese or something and trying to somehow benefit from this kind of odd action. Wow. Yotta's spending some money with these software developers to make some of this stuff. Tell me in the comments if it's making you happy or not. Change number 7 here is the culmination of all of these and my reaction to it to say, okay, guys, you're changing all these things. You're giving us all these options. You're moving all of our money around into multiple accounts and opening brokerage accounts, and you're doing all these things. In the process of all that, why can't you offer a similar base interest rate to what some of these other banks are offering? 4%, maybe even 5%, plus drawings on top of that. I mean, even if you were at 3% as a base rate plus drawings, that would really help. But right now, I'm stuck in this swirling mess of ever-changing features and access and host banks, and I have no idea where my money really is. And all that is a little bit concerning and confusing, and all of that kind of minutia for this return that's less than what I get at a simpler service elsewhere. Like, why am I putting up with this? Do I need access to this like goofy phone arcade where I'm wagering these tickets? Is that the value add here? Because I need my money to actually work for me and grow and multiply. That's why I'm here. Maybe other people are willing to pay money for a bad arcade. I think if you're watching this video, you need to do what's best for you and your family and your money. But for me, I'm very tempted to just yank out every cent that I have in Yotta and stuff it in a place where I know I'm at least getting 5% these days. At the end of 2023, 5% should be the standard for your cash. If it's not at 5% or near there, something needs to change. You need to move that cash around and do something. There's even CDs that are upwards of 24 months, up to 3 or 4 or 5 years that are over 4%. Let's do that. Let's lock it up. All right, how do I withdraw money out of here? Oh, just that middle purple button. It's a Sunday afternoon, so I won't be able to get this money out right now, but I may as well start the process and get this money going. And I only have $146.72 left in my Yotta account because everything was in that Treasury I-bond, but I'm taking out what's left. Withdraw funds. We'll do it in 2 to 3 business days. $145.02 is what I have available in cash. Gonna lose all my tickets. Don't care. Withdraw the money. I'm out. Got it. You might be asking, where am I going to put that money now? Where am I going to do better than with Yotta? Well, I still really like Prize Pool. I feel like they have remained fairly constant, and that's actually a good thing because for a while it seemed like they were chasing after Yotta, and all the features that Yotta would come out with, they would kind of mimic, and they sort of were as frantic as Yotta for a time, and now they've kind of leveled off. But I still feel like I enjoy that service. No, it's not still the best interest rate. I'm only talking about $146, so it's not a ton. But I also just might buy a CD with it. I'm going to experiment a little bit and see. If you have a preference as far as what you want me to check out and try something new, then let me know what that is because maybe we'll do that. But I think this really corresponds with a video that I'm working on now that's like, look, if I'm using a financial service, it needs to be simple enough to actually use and enjoy, understand, and be something I can wrap my mind around. Yotta is like this over-caffeinated Tasmanian devil with a software development skill. Like, chill out and add some real value. Quit making these goofy games. Quit shifting everything around so much. Just make it work. And of course, that's easy for me to say. I'm not the one running a fintech company, so maybe I should have a little bit more empathy for them and say, look, you guys are doing your best. There's a lot of moving pieces here. That's very tough to figure those kinds of things out. And I don't really know what that means to have a relationship with a bank or multiple banks. And so maybe they're just doing what they have to do to stay afloat. Because, like, for example, I was going to talk about this other company in a few videos called Stock Market Eye because it was interesting and because they wanted to sponsor some videos. And as it turns out, they went out of business. So that kind of thing can really happen too. If this was a livelihood threatening thing for Yotta and they weren't going to be able to actually continue as a service, because if they lost that connection with Evolve, then maybe they just couldn't happen anymore. Okay, I get it. You got to stay afloat. So it's frustrating. It's not the best, but as consumers, we vote with our money. If you like it, stay there, keep your money there. If you don't, find something else. I'm curious to know your thoughts in the comments. Are you keeping your money there? Are you moving it somewhere else? And also the money that I'm transferring out, what do you think would be interesting? Should we investigate the best CD rates right now? What should we do? The secret comment for today is Zoom. I got this sweet old Zoom lens from a very questionable pawn shop near my house. It is in mint condition. I'm stoked. Glass is super clean, but Zoom can also mean like a pace, like zooming away from Yotta. I'm gonna zoom towards somebody else because I think it's the right move for me. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.